Welcome to PaRANTing.
Hi, everybody.
It's a podcast about kids.
This is not going to matter in your
That
life.
kids shouldn't listen. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to another episode of PaRANTing Podcast. I am Mark Adam here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I am joined by my cousin and co-host, the lovely Katie G.
Hello.
I figured I would give you the lovely because you always give me the lovely, and I'm
Aw.
yeah.
Oh, we're so cute.
So
Aw.
adorbs.
Anyway, after throwing up in my mouth a little bit, welcome back.
Yeah. So we are back. We're trying a different
Yeah.
way of recording and posting this week. So if it works, great. If it doesn't, enjoy the audio version because the video version may be a travesty. So we'll see.
Exactly.
We're all about the experimentation here on the PaRANTing Podcast, both in how we do the podcast and how we treat our children. Experiment away. So
Listen, you live and you learn. And this is episode 37, and we're literally still learning and figuring it out. But we're just trying different things because, trying to make a little less work, and we're trying to be up with the, being able to create certain things for social medias that all the crazy kids are doing these days. So anyway, we're giving this a shot this week. So hopefully everything goes well. Like Adam said, if it doesn't go well video wise, enjoy the audio recording.
Yep.
Because that's what you're going to get.
Very simple concept, but it's proving to have some glitches I was not anticipating. So we'll see. It doesn't matter. You don't need to hear about the back end of things. You just want to hear about how terrible we are at being parents. There she goes. She popped away. If you're looking, I'm not sure if you're watching the vertical version, which is a thing that we may or may not have. She'll be
depending
above
on
me,
how this goes,
being all off to one side. And is it going to pop itself back, or do I have to manually do it?
Oh no! See, tech issues again.
See, this is the thing, and I don't know why it's doing that. I don't understand like this.
Well, what I was so excited for, because I do enjoy having the video version available. But I was so excited because I got a shipment of mugs in today for PaRANTing Podcast. So thank you to the Mark Adam. He was kind enough to order those for me. Got a nice bulk order to have on hand. And the majority of them are spoken for by family members already, which is great. Yeah. But, I was kind of, if our video doesn't work, then that's fine. But then the audio version, we'll post some pictures of the mugs. But I'm very excited. This is one of the new ones that came in if the video works. It's our, regular logo with the black insert and the black handle. It's very cute. I thought I would just, show it off for this one. And then I also wanted to show, we have a Bitmoji version with our tiny little Bitmoji faces on it. So also the same thing, black interior, black handle. So I got a bunch of these in. And
slick looking. Hold that up again, because on the mock-up it doesn't look round, but it looks exactly like it should there, right?
Yeah, it's really great. They're really well made, they're really nice. So I'm using one to drink out of, which is definitely not an alcoholic beverage. I would never do that. And then I know the lies. So yeah, we got a shipment of them in. So the whole point of saying that is that we've got obviously some spoken for by family members because for some reason they like to support us in our crazy antics, even at our old ages, but we love them and appreciate the support. But we also we haven't figured that out yet because it's just typical us, but we want to do a giveaway to any of our listeners and viewers. So I have some stock and I've got things ready to go for shipping. So whenever we figure that out, we'll do a giveaway for a mug or a couple of the mugs anyway. So stay tuned for that whenever we decide that's going to happen. So, but I'm excited. So if the video doesn't work, that's fine. Whatever. Yeah. But audio mugs. Who doesn't love a mug? Everyone loves a mug.
And if you go, you can actually see pictures of these mugs on our website, parentingpodcast.com, where we do have a merch section. There's some little shop area where you can get some t-shirts, hoodies, mugs. You can buy us some beers, which you get nothing but satisfaction of knowing you're helping a small
but just
enterprise.
Knowing that there's an alcoholic beverage in this beautiful mug is satisfactory, right? Is that how that works? Sure.
I'm assuming. But so I'm very excited. This is a great time to be alive. No, it's not. It's we are, however, post-pandemic, so that's kind of nice. I really enjoy the no restrictions. I got to say in an email today, hey, we can do it via video call, phone call, or I can meet you in person, which I've been waiting 2 years to say. So
yeah. It is kind of nice. Hey, like I feel like we're, with work too, we're kind of just starting to open up a little bit more because with our business, there's a lot of travel involved for some people. And so that's starting to pick up and starting to happen. So it's kind of nice to get a little bit of normalcy. There's also the regular precautions that people are taking, and there's still definitely COVID's kind of going through everything. So I think everyone at this point that I know has had it, or their kids have had it, or whatever. But it's we're getting there. We're getting there. So I have high hopes for the summer, although it's funny because we're spending a majority of our time and money right now planning a deck, like a brand new deck to go out back that we're going to spend the majority of our time at and not go anywhere. So, but at least people can come over, right? Yeah. We could pick and choose. I think I would like to have you at my house. You can come over. That's fine. Come hang out at our new deck. So I'm very much looking forward to the nice weather. And it's if the video does work, you can see it's really bright and sunny here, and it's going to get dark by the time we get through this podcast. It's so
crazy. It starts so bright at the beginning of our recording sessions.
I know.
And
within an hour, it's dark.
Well, exactly. I know. How? Why? How? Why?
Well, once summer comes, then it's going to be better because, then it'll stay lighter longer. So there won't be such a dramatic lighting difference. But yeah, I'm very excited for the sunny weather. And it was funny, earlier this week, they were calling for potential snow here this weekend. And I was like, that is
no, thank
rude.
You. No, thank
First
you.
of all, rude. It is May. No, thank you.
Not interested.
Not interested. Please return to sender. No, thank you. So yeah, but it's fine. It's not in the forecast anymore. We've got some sunshine and nice weather coming. So we'll be doing more outside things.
Well, people in Winnipeg over here are worried. Well, not so much Winnipeg, but southern Manitoba, and there's a bunch of places in Manitoba that are dealing with a lot of flooding at the moment. So
yes, I did hear that. Yeah.
Listen, to those affected, I'm super sad to hear that. I'm really glad that there's a number of people organizing rescue and relief efforts. So hopefully everybody can stay safe, and we'll see you on the other side of this not so fun kind of time. So
get that sunshine, soak up all that water.
Yeah, right.
We all need a break. Honestly,
it's 18 degrees here today in Winnipeg. 18.
Really?
18 degrees.
Wow. Okay. So Winterpeg just turned into, I don't know, what's 18 degrees? I was saying Nova Scotia, but our weather's so fucked up too. It's I don't know. Yeah. That's great. That's amazing.
It's wonderful.
Love it.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping that can sustain.
I hope so too.
But if it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's just kind of where we're at.
Life is what it is. Can't control the weather.
Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm sad to see the winter go in a way, because it means that's, the end of hockey season, and there's a lot of, but winter in Winnipeg is not something that people are like, you know what, bring more of that on. We've had enough. And I'm it's a net happy, I'm a little sad, and hockey season's over and there's all this, but I'm very, very happy to be done with winter. And
do you mean hockey season, for NHL type hockey season?
Well, NHL and
okay.
The junior hockey, and here we also have the Manitoba Moose, the AHL, and it's just hockey season in general, and playing hockey. I like to get out and play, you know, sometimes throughout the winter, especially Winnipeg is a wonderful place if you like outdoor rinks, because, you know, at least 4 out of the 30 days a month, you can actually get outside. It's not too cold. So those are days where you can get out there. And if you bundle up, right, you can stretch that to 6 or 7 days a month. And that's kind of where we're at. So I'm very happy about that. But I'm also...
Well, speaking of like just hockey, it was announced today. I don't know if you saw it, but it was announced today that the World Juniors are coming to Halifax/Moncton for 2023.
Is that official?
So it is official.
I knew they had bid for it. I didn't read the official gift. That's awesome. And
I'm so excited. And we already like there was something that Rod found that it was like you can sign up for priority ticket purchases here. So you gotta like sign up and you
buy a whole
could potentially
package or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I am sure it's going to be expensive as all get out, but I am so excited for that to be here. And, you know, I don't know what the structure is going to be yet because it's between Halifax and Moncton. So I don't know what games are going to be where, but yeah, very excited. So any of the hockey fans in the area, like between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, if you're a hockey fan, I'm sure you're equally as excited. So that was a good announcement to hear today.
I found a fix on the website. There we go. That should fix it. Okay. Back at it.
Okay.
Let's give it a fucking shot. Let's try it. Okay. So this brings us to a word from our sponsor. We don't have a sponsor, but if you want to be a sponsor, you can email us.
Huh?
Yeah, that would be great. My email address is markadam@parentingpodcast.com. Feel free to go ahead and message away. And for the KDG, if you want to get a hold of her, I think it's just, is it just KDG at?
Yeah. KDG
at parentingpodcast.com. So you can email us. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Follow us on all the social medias. We have...
Yeah, what's your personal media? Actually, we never really talk about our own personal media, but throw it out there. Like, what are your
on Twitter?
Your personal socials?
Mark Adam HFX on Twitter. Even though I moved to WPG, my Twitter is still HFX. So at Mark Adam HFX. For you on Twitter?
Me on Twitter is at just KatieGale87.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't put your
It is just KDG, but
yeah.
I know. I'm trying to...
Katie Gale 87.
Yeah.
And Gale being
That's right.
Gale for those that...
That's right.
You know, not to be confused with Gale Gayle or Gail or whatever.
Or whatever variation thereof.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So follow us on all that. That'd be great. And this week we were going to talk about some stuff. So...
What? On a podcast talking about things?
I know.
No. We're just here to vibe.
I know.
We're here to show off mugs and drink alcohol. Or not alcohol. It's definitely water.
And at some point, we mention our children to make it, make it seem like we have a theme.
Oh, yeah. Do we have kids? I forgot about those guys.
Yeah. So, speaking of kids, for those out there that are co-parenting, because I know that you two co-parent with Rod's ex, and for me, I have the 2 kids, but I co-parent with one of the kids with her mother, and the other child is Katie's biological daughter, my stepdaughter / I'm going to be adopting her, which is a big deal.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that happened a long time ago. I don't know if I ever shared that on the podcast. I'm not sure, but
you didn't even share that with me.
Oh,
what do you mean? It's like the first I'm hearing of it. So, like legally, like you're legally adopting her.
That's the plan. We have to obviously check some stuff and make sure that we're not going to get in any kind of run into any issues because. Even though her father is not listed on the birth certificate and it should not be an issue there, if he ever comes at us for that, like for custody or whatever, he would have to prove in court that he is the biological dad because he's not listed and it's a whole rigmarole that.
Oh, okay.
It's a whole thing, but it's at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it to have her be my actual daughter, you know?
Well, that like the thing, like I know there's a lot of like legality behind all that, and I don't know anything about the adoption process at all.
Neither do I. Oh.
Well, right, but like my thought was like, well, I thought that if it, you know, there was a known father, that, you know, they would basically give up their rights as a parental guardian of the child, so then
that's kind of where
like someone like
at.
you that could you know, formally adopt. But anyway, that's like all the legality behind it. But I mean, the whole that's amazing. I think that's so great.
I'm really hopeful that it works out exactly, you know, as smoothly as it can. I also understand that may not be the case, and I'm ready to fight for that. You know?
Yeah. So like, is it like, I mean, I know, like, you know, Jamie's pretty young, and you probably haven't had that conversation with her yet, or have you talked to her about anything like that? Like, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know anything about the process, but I would think that, you know, at some point the child would be like, oh, like, you know, involved in the part of like, oh, I'm actually going to adopt you.
That's
my own.
I did a proposal to her, essentially. We you know, had a bunch of people, and my parents and Katie's parents and stuff were all on a video call, and we're like all hanging out, and she sat down and I said, listen, I would like you to be my daughter. Would it be okay with you if I adopt you? And then I literally gave her a note that said, can I adopt you? Check yes or no. And
oh my God.
Yeah, she cried for like an hour, and then
Dude, I'm gonna cry. I didn't know any of this. Like, what? You just spray like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like maybe adopt her or whatever. Just like, you can't just say it like that. I had no idea. Like, I'm literally like tearing up. That's so freaking sweet. Like,
and so then
awesome.
later on,
I'm happy for you.
She brought me back the note, and she had checked off yes. So she didn't actually give me a verbal answer, but she gave me the note, and it's checked yes. And I just thought that's awesome. And so really in my heart, that was the moment she like stopped being my girlfriend's daughter, whom I'm caring for, and, you know, my looking at her like more like a stepdaughter, and she's now my kid. And I've had moments where like I forgot she's not mine. I forgot, and that's in a good way, like just doing stuff, and I'm just, you know, doing things, and hey, come over here, and just being a dad in the moment, and then being like, oh right, like, and then something will come up where it's, you know, oh, your dad, and then she'll say something like, oh, he's not like my dad, because it, you know, the subject of like Father's Day will come up or whatever, but like, and then I'm like, oh right, I'm not your dad, but. You know, I should say I'm not her father, but I am certainly.
You're not her biological father.
Like
you were a father
that moment
figure
in
to
Guardians
her.
of the Galaxy, the second one, when he's like, he might have been your father, but he sure wasn't your daddy, or whatever it was.
He may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy.
You know,
yeah, exactly.
That moment, yeah. So and then there's this song that my girlfriend trolls me with every once in a while. She'll play it, and it's a song by Kelly Clarkson, I think. It's about picking up it's called Picking Up the Pieces or something like that, and it's all about how like her dad let her down, but my stepdad never did. Like, he was there for me, and he was he picked up all the
like
broken
a super
pieces or whatever.
Emotional.
Yeah. And she gets me with it all the time. I'm tearing up kind of right now, just thinking about it. But like, Kelly Clark, I don't mind Kelly Clarkson, but she's certainly not my preferred genre, I'm going to say. Yeah. That said, that song holds a very special meaning in my heart.
Absolutely, it would.
I Katie made me sit down and listen to the lyrics one time and like actually listen to the song. And I did that stupid adult uncontrollable weeping thing. It was very annoying.
It is so annoying sometimes when that happens, right?
I hate when she makes me love stuff.
I don't like to have feelings.
Right? Feelings are for suckers.
Well, dude, I'm like super very happy for you, and hopefully everything all goes well. I'm just kind of taken aback because I just was not expecting to hear that, as if like, you know, I think that's amazing. I think that's great. And I think another, like what I was thinking when you were saying, you know, sometimes like you forget that you're not her dad or whatever. But I find, you know, even though like in my situation, like both parents are very involved in the girls' lives, I feel like, you know, the amount of time that I've been around, you feel like if there's no question that it's not like, I know that they're not my biological children, but they're mine. Like, you know what I mean? Like I 100%, like there's
like
no real thought process there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just.
That's cool. That's really cool. I'm very happy for you.
Yeah. Thank you. It hits different. You know?
It's different.
Like.
Yep.
You know,
I hear that.
You hear some songs and there's poems or TV shows, and there's these moments where this, you know, the dad or the kids, and especially being a girl dad, like I think there's like this extra amount of emotion that I feel that maybe I wouldn't feel as vulnerable if it was a boy for a kid. Is that weird? Because I have no experience. No. I don't have a male.
Yeah.
Child. I just don't. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, you would know everyone's experience is different, but right? So it just depends on you.
They drag this stuff out of you, you know? They you know, I'll just be sitting there doing nothing, and all of a sudden the girls will do something for me, and I'm just like ready to bawl, like just so ready to cry. I'm like, why? Yeah. I'm not this wildly emotional person. But it's just like you said. I mean, it does. It hits you in the feels sometimes, and you're not sometimes not expecting it. And I think especially for, you know, girl dads, you know, there's a, you know, some who've, well, one of the like celebrities that I follow and love dearly is Ryan Reynolds, and he like talks about being a girl dad and in the most hilarious way, which is even better. But yeah, like it's amazing, and that there's, you know, I think it kind of opens up a side of certain people as dads when they have girls. So in a good way. I mean, all kids drive you crazy. So there's always that kind of just stays the same no matter what child you have. But yeah, it's kind of great. Yeah. But it's actually a good Segu into into one of the things I wanted to talk about today that I was going to bring up yesterday. Oh my God, feels like yesterday. That goes down as my favorite segue that we've done on this show in all of the 37 episodes we've done.
My Segu? Okay.
Just say the word Segu. That's your segue. The whole thing. I love it. Continue.
That's it. Perfect. So just on the topic of, you know, girl dads, there was an article that I came across on social media, as one does. And I was trying to find this out today. I was kind of crazy this week, and I was going to dig kind of more into it, but it was this particular article was based out of London, England, and it was this woman. I'm probably going to mess up the name, but it's Anis Waugh, I think. Waugh, Waugh, maybe. Anyway, I don't know the actual pronunciation. Wow. Maybe.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll link. Like, I already have the thing here that we can link to the like I guess article about it. But basically, what it was she had started a kind of like a workshop thing of teaching people, like, you know, to know how to do braids. And then she realized that there were, you know, like parents to do braids on their kids. And so she realized that there were some men who were interested in doing this. And the basis of the article was like, oh, I actually didn't really think about that. But yeah, that makes total sense. I mean, there are even single dads out there, but not even single dads, just dads that are trying to help out, and they're girl dads or whoever, like,
Yoo-hoo.
boys can get braids too. It doesn't matter. But yeah, but like, anyway, so they started a workshop and called it Beers and Braids. And so it's kind of like one of those things where they show up, you can drink a beer and learn how to braid.
I have
like
literally signed up for that 4 times. I have yet to go because I always end up having, like, ironically, something that I have to do with the kids.
Of course.
But it's funny because, like, when she was 2, I signed up. When I say she, because at that time it was just me and Amelia. So when she was 2, I signed up, and then she was, 3, I signed up again. She was 4 or 5, I signed up again, and then I signed up again when she was 6. Because then at that point both of the girls were in my life, and I was like, oh my god, more hair, come on. So it's like, oh my god, the number of braids I have to do doubled. So, but I signed up again, and I always end up not being able to go. Ironically, because of commitments with the children. And so I know exactly what program you're talking about. I love the concept, and I don't know if it's the exact same program where you are, but I know that here, like, that exists, and I really, really want to do it.
Well, and that's the thing. So that was one of the things when I was kind of, doing a little bit of research, trying to find some more information, because I'm not sure if it's originated, because this is from London, England. I don't know if this originated there and this concept happened there, because what I did find is that when I started, going down the Google rabbit hole, was that there are many different versions of this type of workshop across Canada. So I found there was some in Ontario, there was like Regina, there probably are some here. I just didn't get that far. I was just like, I was trying to find like the origination of this. Like, where did this originate?
Right.
Anyway, it's really, I would love to like shout out, like, if this person was the originator of this, then amazing. We'll provide links to all of this, but there are some, like, you could just Google and see if there's any in your area, wherever you're from. But I just thought it was such a cool thing to do, because it's kind of like one of those, I don't know, the wine nights where they wine and paint things, but you can like have a beer and learn how to braid. Because I can do a simple braid, and that's it. Like,
I can't.
I would love to learn
this day,
how to do.
To this day, I cannot. And I've tried. And you know what? I am so proud of how far my ponytail skills have come.
There you go.
And
did you ever see that video, that viral video? Yeah, exactly. You knew exactly what I was going for.
As soon as you said, you're like, this guy needs one of those. Yeah, I understand where your head went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my vacuum is way too dirty inside for me to want to do that to my daughter's hair.
That's also fair. That is fair. You'd have to like a designated little vacuum for that, maybe.
Exactly, right? You need here's the hair vacuum, and here's the one for the dog
Can
hair.
you imagine?
Like,
no, don't use that vacuum. That one's actually for the hair. That one's for the floor.
Yeah. Honestly, though, like for $30, you can get them at Walmart, right? Like, which is the vacuum I have, to be honest, is shitty Walmart vacuum. And
it's a vacuum.
But because I have a dog and a cat and like 2 girls that shed, and it's not like it's coming off of my head, but the odd beard hair here and there.
Yeah, there's hair.
So that, like, the vacuum is just, it's filthy, and I wouldn't do that to my girls.
No.
I just wouldn't.
But the concept is kind of funny. Like, it's kind of genius. You're like,
brilliant.
You know what?
Brilliant.
That's a great idea.
And because it doesn't suck the hair all the way in, it's like, I've watched it happen a bunch of times, and the pressure is perfect. Because I know the big complaint with my girls is like, oh, it's too loose or it's too tight, right?
Yeah.
This ponytail, like, my ponytail's so tight I have a headache, which...
Yeah, it's a real thing.
And I'm just for the record, it's not something that I contend with ever. So for those watching the audio or listening to the audio one, I just revealed my super bald, shiny skull. So... hair is not a thing that I've ever been good at. It's not something, even when I had hair as a kid, I was shitty at maintaining it properly, and it was short. So, I mean, I'm sure my mother could find photos of me with my, I had a mullet at one point when I was like 12. My rat.
Did you actually?
Yeah, my rat tail became like a mullet at some point. I remember I played hockey, right? So it was a hockey kind of tradition to have shitty hair, I guess. Because I mean,
Hockey hair.
do you remember the Yarmer Yager years and all that with that just the flow?
Oh, the flow. Yeah.
So
100%.
bad, so awful. But I had one, and it's embarrassing, but it's a thing.
It's like a rite of passage, honestly. Really, like growing up in like the 90s and stuff too, or like even before that. Like that's we all had bad haircuts. And even if, one of the things that we talked about, if you go back to like some of our old episodes, there's one called haircuts and piercings or something like that. I'll have to find out which one it is. But yeah, we talked about some of the really delicious haircuts and hairstyles we had, and some random piercings that, anyway. But yeah, it's almost like a rite of passage. You have to have some sort of horrible hair situation that you have to look back on and be like...
As embarrassed as I am about my... I'm sorry I keep backing up from the mic because I'm like... try not to yell. But I'm as embarrassed as I am with my mullet situation. Your bowl cut that we actually... like that takes the cake for me. Like,
it was
for sure.
It was so bad. And there's picture evidence. I don't even...
so bad.
It was so bad. It was really bad. And it was bad for like a couple years. It wasn't like, one bad haircut. It was like, no, I continued to get that haircut for a while thinking that it was fine. And then anyway, came to my senses. I was like, why am I getting bullied so much? Oh.
Well, it's mostly about the way you look, talk, and act, but you know.
But the hair just tops it all off, you know?
That was the cap.
It's mostly just you as a person, but like the hair just like puts you over the top.
Yeah.
So
the hair makes people not want to get to know you, which is probably good. Anyway, sorry, that's me. But and of course I grew up with that because in our family, for those that don't know, I grew up with that Gale like barbed wire hair, which I was like, at least I'll never go bald. Fuck. But because like most people in our family, on my mom's and Katie's dad's side of the family, the guys have their hair forever.
Yeah.
So I got all of the shitty wiriness of that side of the family, but I got my dad's male pattern baldness from that side of the family. And so I got the worst of both worlds. As a kid, welcome. I had these like springy curls that were...
Do you know what? Okay, so here's a funny thing, and if Laura's listening to this, she's going to laugh, but she still to this day calls you Cabbage Patch Kid because of those curls. It's honestly the funniest thing because I'm like, Laura, you can let that go at some point. No, it's Cabbage Patch Patch Kid.
Forever, I will be Cabbage Patch Kid.
You're forever a Cabbage Patch Kid.
Legit,
it's hilarious.
I have to find one of the photos of me at that age, like 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there, and also find a picture of the Cabbage Patch doll that I looked identical to. That
is forever.
It wasn't because I get I know exactly what she's talking about. I looked exactly like there was a Cabbage Patch Kid, which were ugly fucking dolls, by the way. And there was one of them that I looked exactly like. It was like they modeled it after me. I looked so much like this thing. And
you're famous. No, those are worth a lot of money these days.
Super upsetting. And I had another uncle who used to call me a Fraggle. My Uncle Jack.
Okay.
So Uncle Jack down the South Shore, Nova Scotia, so Shelburne area. Mm-hmm. Whenever we went down there, he used to call me the Fraggle. Me and Amanda both, because we were both like bright red, glow in the dark red hair, and so you used to call us the Fraggles,
which is really great for
kids' self-esteem and stuff.
Yeah. You're like, oh, I didn't need that. That's fine. I think that's one of the common things throughout our family is we're like, self-esteem, we don't know her and we don't want her. Like, you don't need that. No. Just put that aside. Here's a beer and get over it. That's pretty much that's like the Gale, whatever.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. It's those traits that we all end up with.
Mark Little, a Halifax comedian who was one of the funniest people you will ever meet. Mark Little. He has this bit that he does in his stand-up, and I won't say the whole thing, but it's all about self-esteem coming in to save you, and then it's like, not today, So sorry, that just made me think of that. Mark Little, look the guy up. It has nothing to do with anything, but it just entered my brain, so I thought I'd mention it. That guy is one of the funniest human beings I have ever met. And based in Halifax, and he's part of Picnic Face, if you're familiar with their work, from the Power Thirst viral video and the other viral videos, all about Halifax. Get to know the place we're from. We're from Halifax. We're from Halifax. So it's super hilarious.
Love it.
And they diss Dartmouth, which is the city, the part of the city I'm from, and
which I love.
I love Dartmouth, but they it's weird how
I love that they make fun of it, because I don't do Dartmouth. Like, I am definitely a Halifax girl, because
says the lady in tan Talon.
Well, the thing is, I literally avoid driving over to Dartmouth, because even though it's like, now that I'm like, when I was younger and I was like, I'm not going over there, because I don't like Halifax, like I knew. So like I was fine getting around. I'm like, if I go over there, I'm going to be lost, and I'm never going to be able to find my way around. I've been over there a few times, and like I obviously have gone over to visit with Grammy, and like every time I go over there, I'm like, it gives me such bad anxiety going over to Dartmouth.
And yeah, I get that. And usually it's not even traffic related. There's a lot of people who just avoid Dartmouth because the crime rate. They think that it's like this, it's like walking into Compton, or you know what I mean? Like you're just gonna get stabbed. It's like this dangerous place.
Well, there's certain areas, just like any place.
But
like
there's way worse areas in Halifax proper that are way worse. But anyway, we digress.
Enough about that.
Enough about our weird childhood. Let's talk about our own children's weird childhood.
Another Segu into like our kids.
Oh, yeah.
So, the one thing that I've, it's going to be
that's
forever
a thing now. Yeah, you've made it a
Mm-hmm.
thing. I understand.
It is a thing now. You're welcome.
Let's lean into it, I guess.
Yeah, might as well. One of the things I was talking about recently with a colleague of mine, also a friend, but it's funny how, because I mean, we are both, she also has girls too, but it seems as though like girls, like our kids are so eager to grow up quickly. They're like, I can't wait to be on my own and do whatever I want and blah, 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 or whatever it might be. And
little do they know.
Right. I'm like, little do you know, doing whatever you want, in quotes, means like you have so many more responsibilities. And
yeah.
That's financial, like, your work, like there's so many different responsibilities that go along with doing whatever you want. Like, yeah, you may have a place to live, but you need to work a job so you can pay for that. And you have to pay for your own food. You have to pay for all these insurances and all of these things that you don't think about as a kid. Cause like, why would you? So it's like, you really want to like hone in on like, please just like enjoy being a kid. Like, because there's just like, there's a saying, it's almost like, I think youth is wasted on the young, something like that.
Yep.
And it's like, because it is, they don't really understand how good they really have it, because when you're an adult, you're like, wow.
I wish I was a kid. Yeah. But it's always a grass is always greener situation. Like
totally. Yeah.
But can we all agree that nobody wants to be elderly? Like that's the one thing where you're like,
you're just like throwing the elderly out there.
I can't wait until my joints hurt so much I can't move in the morning. Just nobody's feeling that. But at the same time,
the one thing that I will look forward to is the fact that I could be an absolute a-hole and they're like, well, she's just an old lady. She doesn't know any better.
Yeah, I've already started that now. But I just say what I want. I've adopted that old person mentality where it's like,
less the older you get, the less fucks you give.
I give so little fucks right now. And I can't imagine how few fucks I'm allowed to give when I'm like 80.
Right. You can do whatever you want.
And here's the other thing. And this is going to sound terrible, but please don't call the mental health people on me. This is just,
no.
I don't know if I want to live that long. Like I'm happy to be the candle that burns bright for a short amount of time.
No, I think that's a legitimate feeling. It really is. Because I feel the same way. Like, I don't want to get to a point where I have to have people taking care of me full time. Like, I don't want to be a burden on anybody. Not that I would say,
it's not about being a burden. It's about like, I don't want other people touching me. I just don't. I don't want to get to that point. Like, it's time for your bath. No, it isn't.
I guess that's what I mean. Like, you don't want to kind of be in that situation where you can't, when you kind of lose that independence. That's what I wouldn't want that, obviously. But I mean, I don't know. I totally like, I think that's a very legitimate, thought, feeling, and, maybe concern or fear. Like, I just don't want to like live too long. you know, if you still got your wits about you and you can still, you know, do certain things on your own and have some sort of like independence, then, you know, you're able to kind of, I don't know, be happy or content in some sort of way. But yeah, I totally know what you mean. I think that's a legitimate thing that people think about, or I don't know. I definitely do. I'm like, I don't want to, personally, I know I'm not going to. So like, I'm not really concerned about it. I'm like, there's no way I'm making it to like 85. Like, there's no way.
Then the way I live, there's no way I live that long. I just like, I when I do stuff, I do it. So like when I was doing exercise, I did exercise. Like I did it full on. When I drink, I drink. When I honestly, like, whatever.
There's no half-assing.
I don't, like, there's no point, like, do you want to have a beer? Like, every once in a while, like, yeah, a nice, refreshing beer, but, like, one beer just kind of, why one beer? Why? Right? If the point of beer is to make your brain do funny things, and one beer doesn't do it for me, you know? You know, if you want to have a half a dozen beers, we'll talk. So, for me, like, it's do it or don't do it. That's kind of where I'm at. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And I think like the whole point, like I was trying to make with that is because it's frustrating because you want to, like, you tell your kids, like, enjoy this time in your life, even though I know it, like, being a teenager comes with its own set of bullshit that I would never want to go back to personally. Like, those are certain days where I'm like, never again would I want to be in high school. And some people loved high school and had a great time, and that's great. Like, I think that's amazing.
Those people. Fuck
but
those people.
I was definitely not one of those people.
Yeah.
But I think it's like I just want to get it across. Like, please don't want to like grow up too quickly, because there are so many more things that you don't even know about that come along with being that adult and being able to do whatever you want. So it's like, you want to kind of be able to be like, okay, just, you know, maybe just take it back a notch and just enjoy the time that you have now, because not to say things get worse. It's just things are not what you think they are.
Right.
Like, you think that, like, I remember as a kid that if we wanted to go pay for things, you just use that debit card and go pay for stuff. I didn't realize that you had to work to put money in the bank, and that's what that debit card took money out of. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think about those things. You're just like, oh, just use the money card.
And that's
it's
the
magic.
kids. The kids are just like, well, can't you? Where were we the other day? And of course, things are tough, right? Like, you know, my partner works 2 jobs, and I'm struggling with this, you know, the whole online business thing, and trying to find out like where can I, you know, do stuff to earn some extra cash to bring into the house, and it's a struggle right now. You know, the whole pandemic really ground a lot of things to a halt, and now it's like the restrictions are lifted, so now it's like scramble to catch up kind of thing. But at the same time, like, you know, my kids will go to like 7-Eleven, and one of them will be, can we get a Slurpee? Well, not today. I just don't have the extra cash. Like, we're here to get bread and eggs so we can make dinner or something, you know? And if you don't have, just use the plastic card. Like, yeah, but that's money. Like, that's where that comes from. Like, I know you don't understand
when
this
they're
concept.
really young. It's something, which is one thing that I think, at least here, that I know that our girls were learning the concept of like budgeting and, you know, and money. And then now that they're old enough to work, they're really understanding like, oh, I have to work this amount to get this kind of money. And so they do get there. But when they're young, it's like the magic plastic card.
And so we've started teaching our kids that now we have like, because we live on Agnes Street, and so I've created this program called Agnes Bucks, and so whenever they do stuff, I don't have any examples here, but like I literally print business cards out that look kind of like little fake money with dollars, and so when they do chores, each type of chore is worth X number of Agnes Bucks. And they can trade their Agnes Bucks later when they want to buy something at an actual store. They can trade their Agnes Bucks in for regular dollars.
Okay, I like that.
Or we have a program where like a little thing where, you know, I get to pick the movie tonight, costs this many Agnes Bucks, and movie night with Papa costs this many Agnes Bucks, and things like that. So they're learning, like, if I want to do extra stuff that we like when we're not normally going to do it anyway, because we have movie nights and we don't charge them money every time we watch a movie. That's not what we're doing.
You don't?
But like when they want to do something very specific against the grain of whatever it was we were going to do, we allow them to change the program, but it costs them Agnes bucks. And it gets them thinking like, okay, so I have to do X number of chores to kind of gain some control over what it is that we do.
Yeah.
And you know, if I want to have extra snacks that are sugary and whatever, we don't give them snacks like that. We have a trail mix bar set up, and they can go grab like cashews and raisins and like there's goldfish and all this stuff. But they have to. There's rules about how they can build their trail mix, but like that stuff's available whenever because it's relatively healthy. But if they want like chocolate bars and things like that, we make them use their Agnes bucks to buy the rights to have that. So
and I think that
making
makes
them build
sense,
about like, okay, the basics are taken care of for us. If we want to do extra cool stuff, we have to earn it by doing chores, which we need them to do anyway, right? Clean your room, make sure your we don't ask them to do the laundry, but make sure your laundry basket is full. And when it's full, it goes to the laundry area so that we can do your laundry for you. We don't have to go running through your room, collecting all your crap. You know, you guys are getting too old for that and blah, blah, blah. So we have that whole program trying to teach them about like thinking about budgeting at the ages of 7 and 9 and things of that nature. So that's kind of where we're at. So
yeah, I mean, it makes sense because it is good to kind of start that early. And we did try with and failed. But we did try, it was like, anyway, so what we did is that we had like little whiteboards and they were on like, kind of like over to like my right here, but like we have our fridge and I bought 2 magnetic whiteboards just from the dollar store, got some like markers and stuff. I had, a list of like a bunch of chores. I think I listed like 10 to 12 different things that they could do. And those included just simple things of like just folding and putting away your laundry, emptying the dishwasher, filling the dishwasher. Those were like 2 separate things, like very simple tasks that they could do. And we started that process of like, okay, if you do just because we have them a week on, week off. So in your week here, if you complete 5 out of the however many are there, just 5 things, we will give you $5. And, because so we started this thing so that would be, it fizzled out so quickly. It wasn't even funny. It was like, it happened for like the first week that they were here. And then it was like, now that they're older, it's better because at least they're working and they get
making their own money. Yeah.
Yeah. But at that point, it was just like, it just seemed like it wasn't worth it for them. I'm like, whatever. I don't want to do that. Like they just didn't care to have money because we weren't here like just giving kids an allowance for not doing anything. Like I really didn't want to push that on like, here's money for not really doing anything. Like I wanted at least like that, you need to do something for the money because I think that's a good life lesson is that you don't just get money for free. So that was one of the big things that we were trying to encourage is like, okay, if you just do help, and that's just things like to help us out around the house. But even like at this point, like sometimes like the only thing that will really ever happen without having to be asked is like emptying or filling the dishwasher. Like those are the only things that'll like happen sometimes, but everything else is like they have to be asked or told to do. And so that can get frustrating, but it's also like a teenager thing. So you're like, well, you take the good with the bad. At least they're out working, they're doing good in school. Like you kind of get a little lax on some of those and don't get too upset sometimes. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's just a whole process. And it just changes as they get older.
I get it.
Yeah. Which is why I Segu into this.
Oh. That is, speaking of Segus, why don't we get to the top tweets since we're coming up on time here.
Are we there already?
Well, we're at roughly 50 minutes, minus the minute that I had to take to like fix, like I had to cut out.
Right.
To fix
well, the one thing I wanted so there was 3 things I wanted to mention. One of the big things is that when this comes out, this is on the Saturday, tomorrow when this comes out is Mother's Day. And I wanted to just say a general happy Mother's Day to all of the moms or dads who are the moms and dads and everyone out there, just to say like a happy Mother's Day and, especially like, specifically to our family too, my mama, Brenda, love you, and my nanny. and every other moms, and then
to my mom as well, Christine.
Yeah.
I love you. To my nanny, I love you, and even my sister. As much as
even to Amanda,
even my sister,
we'll even just extend that to you.
Even because she's got 2 kids, and she's her kids are older than mine. She's been doing this mom thing for a lot longer than I've been doing the dad thing. But like, speaking of, you mentioned the dad's doing the mom job, which happens more than you think.
Yeah.
But there's a day they're trying to get a day where it's like instead of like Father's Day and Mother's Day, and there's like even a Grandparents' Day and all this stuff, they want to institute a day where it's like literally like happy day for the adult who loves me, like the adults who care about me day. And I thought, I don't know what they're going to call it. But I thought that's a really important thing, because there's a lot of people who, kids who are adopted, kids who are living in a foster system, kids who are like,
so there's different.
If your parents aren't the ones that you want to celebrate, you can celebrate my teacher who like put in extra time with me to make sure that I understand the math assignment. You can put in, my hockey coach who taught me how much work that it takes to do a thing and how I'm capable of doing that much work. And you know what I mean? Like I really love the concept of that day. So yes.
Yeah. So it's not just specific to a parent, because there's a lot of people in your life that aren't just your parents that that influence you, that impact your life in different ways. And so to be able to kind of celebrate that as well, I think it's a great idea. I like that.
And I think it's important to still have Mother's Day and Father's Day and that.
Of course.
So I think that is important, because it's nice to recognize, between me and my dad, for instance, there's been some time that in our life that wasn't copacetic,
No.
but and we haven't, and probably won't ever go into the whole, me getting kicked out of the house and blah, blah, blah thing on this podcast. But, there was a time where he and I really did not get along. And, even still, it's important to acknowledge all of the good things, like all of the things that I learned from my dad.
Yeah.
That make me who I am. And make me the kind of, and some of those things are things that you learned that you're like, I'm not going to do that as a parent.
Exactly.
And that's fine. But he was doing it because he thought it was the best way to be a parent. And that's, in the 80s and 90s, things were really fucking different, to be honest. So I 100% get it. But, there were times he was amazing as a dad, and there were times where he was, found wanting. And I'm the same way. There's days I'm fucking nailing it over here, but there's also days where my children won't talk to me. So
but that's like parenting 101. You're like, you can't be their friend and their parent at the same time. Like you really can't. Like there are just, you have to be the bad guy sometimes. And the thing is that they'll thank you for it later. It's just at the moment, they're going to not like you. And that's okay. It's okay to not be liked by your children. They will love you unconditionally.
It's also okay to recognize that your parents are human beings who make mistakes that aren't perfect. You don't have to love them for everything they've done. That's the other important thing.
We're all trying our best. Like like parents and kids, like you do the best with what you have.
Right.
And some, there's different situations for everybody. But I mean, like I said last episode, we're all doing our best. Like, just give yourself a little bit of break. Even kids, like, our kids, like, what they as much as,
Didn't we have an episode already called Doing Our Best or something like that?
I think so. I think we did.
We must have.
The funny thing is I forget, because we are on episode 37. We've talked about a lot of shit before that, because we had our little teeny tiny minuscule break of like 14 months.
No big deal.
Yeah, just a little teeny tiny break. But like I forget stuff that we've talked about. But there's a lot of that. And it's always like a learning, and it's a continued learning thing. Like you just, it just, as you are as a person, even without kids, you continue to learn as you get older. And sometimes things that you thought 5-10 years ago, you could think the complete opposite now, or because of things that you've learned that you're like, oh, that was, I don't feel that way anymore. And like, as a human, like that's totally normal. And you should be constantly learning and evolving. And, anyway.
So the end result of that is Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
to
Happy
all
Mother's
the
Day.
moms, ours in particular from us, but
Yes.
all the moms out
We
there,
love you.
you're doing it. You're doing your best. And that is all anyone can ever ask of you. Whether you're struggling or thriving, there's, just keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
Exactly.
the end result. So happy Mother's Day.
Exactly.
We love
Happy
you.
Mother's Day.
and we wish you all the best in your mothering duties going
Thank you for
forward.
dealing, particularly, just thank you for dealing with us and still loving us. And then now that we're older and not we're on our own, and that you kind of love us a little bit more because we're such a burden.
Yeah.
But just thank you for
speak for
everything.
yourself. I like to be a burden still.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what parents are for, right?
Yeah.
We love them. They're the rock. Well, especially Mother's Day, it's different in each family, but I know my mom's the rock of our family and she keeps us together as much as she thinks that she doesn't. She absolutely does.
Yeah.
She's the core of our family for sure. So
and
I very much appreciate that.
I didn't move away from my parents on purpose. I moved away to become a parent. So yeah,
That's true.
I still love my parents, believe it or not. Mom and dad.
I believe you. I believe you. So, okay. So we will get into the top tweets. So because I was wanting to get into the Mother's Day thing because I picked Mother's Day type themed top tweets for this week since
good.
Mother's Day is tomorrow. So, when this comes out. So let me come over here. So I am going to start with, I'm gonna massacre this name, so I apologize ahead of time. We will have it tagged. So our first one is from at Semra Dermisovic, and I'm probably saying that horribly wrong, and I do apologize.
If you're watching the video or you're listening on any of the audio platforms, we always type out where to find the person, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, we'll tag you.
Yeah.
If you're on Twitter or Instagram, whatever, we will tag you in it. And if I said your name horribly wrong, just let me know how it's actually pronounced. I apologize ahead of time.
Pronunciation keys. I used to do the play-by-play for soccer and stuff, and some of the players, the university students, right? So they're from all over the world. And so I always, before the game, would go to the dressing room and ask the coach, listen, I'm going to walk down this name and I'm going to say all the names. Correct me when I fuck it up. And
yeah, exactly.
And at least 5 of them, they're like, that's real wrong.
That's real not. Yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel sometimes because I'm the last thing I want to do is offend anybody.
Right.
It's not on purpose. It's just I can be just dumb and not know how to pronounce names. So anyway, moving on. So their tweet was, my mom yesterday, do you work tomorrow? Me, yes. My mom today, do you work today? Me, yes, I already told you. My mom, when I'm at work, where are you? That is so accurate, at least even in this house. It's we're trying to keep track of the kids' schedules. I'm okay, do you work today? Especially Allison, she's the oldest and she drives. So we're wait, so do you work tonight or was that tomorrow? And it's a constant back and forth. So I'm sure she probably feels that way of we're okay, you work tonight, right? Where are you at? Oh, you're at work. Okay.
And see, I'm so bad. I'm very gifted in a lot of ways and super disabled in other ways, And same with everybody has their things they're good at, their things that they suck at. And one of the things I suck at is being able to visualize a calendar. I just cannot do it. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but when someone's oh, okay, so we're going to do this on this day and this on the next day. And then at this time, fucking nope, gone. I'm immediately disengaging. I'm can you text it to me? If I can't see it written out, it's not a thing. It doesn't exist. Yeah. And it drives my partner, Katie, drives her nuts because we'll have a conversation and 30 seconds later, I'm okay, what's happening again? You're
not alone. You're not alone.
Gets so upset with me. And I get it, but I can't help it. I get why you're mad, but there's nothing I can do about it.
No, but you're not alone in that. And I feel Rod sometimes is the same way. They would tell him something 2 days beforehand. It's that's way too far away. I can't process whatever you're telling me. You have to tell me day of or day before or something. But what we've started doing, what we started doing with the kids because, week on, week off, it was like the Sunday before they come back to us on the Monday is like, what's your schedule for the week? So it's like they kind of do Monday to Sunday. Here's everything that's going on this week. I work this day. I have nothing, whatever. Like it's a full week schedule, which was super helpful for us, especially when you were like driving them places, like before Allison
Google
had her
Calendar
license.
is the best thing ever because you can share your calendar with whoever you want.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so I have my calendar and it's shared with Katie. So everything that pops up, Katie can see it. Katie can put her own stuff in the calendar. So her work schedule, I see it in my calendar.
Yeah.
So I don't have to go. So like, you didn't work Tuesday because of this other thing. Like, what changed? Like, where are you working instead? And like, it's in the calendar and I don't have to, but I have to co-parent, as I mentioned, with Amelia's mother. And so every time that we're like trying to figure out, like they want to go away for a week and then we're trying to figure out like, okay, then we're going to get time back. So when is that going to happen? And So then
it's
but I literally have to I actually have to print calendars out, blank ones, write everything in, and then highlight stuff in color coded. Like yellow is your time normally. Green is your time that is supposed to be my time. Like normally it would be my time, but now it's yours. Because you're taking her these days. So then I know like what normally the calendar is, what has changed. And then like pink is my normal time and orange is time that I have with Amelia that normally would be. So I literally have to do that and color code it.
We did that for years with the girls, especially like it only came to summertime because summers are a little bit wacky because when they were younger, it wasn't like now that they're older, it really doesn't matter because they can stay home on their own. But when they were younger, there were like camps that they were in, or they were, with their grandparents for like a week or something, or they were, with their mom going away. And so we would have an entire summer planned and we would do the exact same thing. We would print out the summer months. We would have everything written out, color coordinated on the fridge. So we knew that we had to do that in order to keep track.
Yeah. So, for instance,
keep track of it.
Yesterday, we're recording on a Thursday, and today she has early dismissal, my kiddo. So 2:00 instead of the normal 3:15. But it's not my day, so I don't give a shit. But yesterday is normally her mom's day, but it was my day because they went away last week and had her on my day. So, like...
Yeah, there's like that.
But I have a really, really hard time with calendars. Like, trying to visualize it. I fucking can't.
You just need the physical calendar.
And so I have a thing on my phone, when you have your pages of shit, and I'm on an Android, not an iPhone. So like I have a calendar widget on one of my pages. I swipe from my apps. It's my calendar. Legit my calendar if it's not easy to get to, I'm less likely to even look. Right. So that's fair.
That's fair. As long as whatever you have that works for you, I totally get that because I'm definitely more of a visual person too. So like for me to try, especially these days, I find things that I thought were like 2 days ago or like 3 years ago. So I have no concept of time anymore, which I've mentioned before. I literally don't anymore. So like I can't rely on my brain calendar abilities. It has to be
and it drives
in
me
my
nuts.
actual.
I already told you this many times. Well, yeah, but did you write it fucking down? Like, is it written down anywhere? Because if
I didn't write it down,
tell
so
me
your fault.
60 times, but the day of, you gotta tell me again. I'm not gonna remember. So if I don't I have to set alarms for all this shit. Anyway, it is what it is. Top tweet number 2.
Moving on. Number 2.
10 minutes later.
I know, right? Seriously. That's why you probably wanted to start these 10 minutes before. You're like, Katie, we're going to get on a rant.
Kind of where I was going with that. Yeah, but that's fine.
But whatever. It's fine.
It's not like it's a TV show. We don't have to fit it into a certain amount of time. So we're good.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. Just fast forward a couple seconds if you don't want to hear us. That's fine. Okay. Top tweet number 2 from @CopyMama. It says, for Mother's Day, all I want is to go 24 hours without sighing. Yeah.
Good luck.
I do that a lot.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time doing this one. Oh, okay.
Oh, like the rubbing the eyes, like squinching the little thing, like you're like right at the top of your nose,
the pressure point. Yeah. Just,
yeah.
Okay,
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, like grabbing your earlobes, like woo-sa from Bad Boys or whatever.
Well, my friend at work, her and I would just call it like we are stress sighing. So like both of us are at work, and I'm like, it's just not the same when she's not there because no one's there to enjoy my stress sighing. Because like I'll be sitting there at work and I'm like, fuck. Yeah. And then if she's not there to like enjoy that with me, I'm like, man, it's kind of like it makes me sad. Or like if we're like we have like an instant messaging system through our work, and like I'll just send her a message. It just says Sigh.
How did I know it was going to be Sigh?
I don't know.
Sigh.
It's probably a thing that came from somewhere that's why it's in my head.
I don't know, but it was what I was like, oh, you probably typed out like Sigh.
I did. Yeah. I do every time. Sigh. Okay, last top tweet. Well, okay, tweet number 3.
You okay? Well, if you do this, and then we'll do the thing.
Okay, last tweet is from it's Valley Girl, but it's VALEEGRRL.
Oh, so like an actual Valley Girl.
Valley Girl. Anyway, she said, or they, I should say, last year my kid learned how to make my coffee on Mother's Day. This year, mimosas. Her training is complete.
Yeah.
That I would be all for. You bring me a sparkling orange juice, I'm here for it.
I saw on, it was either YouTube Shorts or TikTok, but there was a girl who said, for Mother's Day, all I want is to not have to take care of anybody who came in or out of my vagina.
Yeah, there were some vulgar ones that I actually passed on.
Yeah.
They were not vulgar, but they were just they were ones that are.
So that one's pretty vulgar. So I apologize.
Yeah, well, one of them was just like, I'll find it, but it was just like, Mom, give me my personal space. She's like, you came out of my personal space. Those ones I found were pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Follow us on all the social medias: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch. Even though we didn't do the streaming thing, we're probably going to maintain some Twitch presence. We haven't decided what that's going to look like.
We're figuring stuff out. Yeah, we're figuring it out.
But yeah, so if you go to PaRANTingPodcast.com, all the links are there. If you're watching on the YouTubes, all the links should be below. Blah, blah, blah. You can click on all the things. Follow us. I am Mark Adam here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which, by the way, 18 degrees today. Oh, it's not even Manitoba. It's
love it.
Winterpeg is done. So
get out of here. Get out of here.
Excited.
And I'm also the KDG here in Tantallon, Nova Scotia. Thank you so much for listening / watching if this video comes up. And check out some of our previous episodes. Some of them I forgot about. So go take a look at those. Everything's linked everywhere. Like Adam said, they're everywhere. So Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Sigh.
How does this thing work?